What's the worst that can happen at an airport like this?
The worst thing that could happen is you could have a mid-air collision.
2 planes involved in a mid-air collision.
2 aircraft that collided in midair this weekend.
As an investigation begins into how a light plane crashed here yesterday.
1 person is dead and several others are injured after 2 small planes collided mid-air.
Or about why a small plane crashed onto I-95 in Brevard County.
I'll just say the area of the airspace. The southwest corner of Savannah, that's always been the hot spot. That's when bad things happen. My name is Mary Beasley. I've been a resident of Bryan County since 2001. I was a Federal Aviation Air Traffic Controller since 1995 at Savannah Airport. Just retired in 2021. I was a union representative for also the tower, and I am a private pilot. Air traffic controllers were all about safety and keeping planes separated. That's the #1 rule. At Savannah, I worked in the tower. So in the tower, you actually arrive and depart on the runways. That was and taxi the aircraft to the runways. I also worked in the radar room. It's called the TRACON. So in the radar room, you do overflights. You work all the planes into the runways. And we also work different airports. Our airspace is from Savannah Airport. It's 40 miles out to 10,000 feet up. So February this year, I was on a social platform, Facebook, and I found it. It popped up on my reels. And I was like, wow, I can't imagine them having an airport here. I had to think about where would they put this airport? Because we have too many airports in the airspace anyway. We have Hunter, we have Savannah, we have Mid-Coast Regional, we have Claxton, we have Statesboro, we have Metter, we have Hilton Head, we have Brunswick, we have, specifically in this region, there's like about 13. There's so many airports, I don't see what the need was. And I was thinking, well, I don't know the Bryan County lines because I've never sat down and actually wrote them out. So I pulled up a map. I actually made a little circle on where it is. And I knew it was gonna be in South Bryan County because the city said they were gonna annex land for the airport. So when I did that, I realized there's no good place in Bryan County. I submitted a Freedom of Information Act with the Federal Aviation. I asked for a list of items that I thought I could get to sort of figure out where they would put it at the airport. Well, when I got the information in June 2025, I got more than what I wanted. I got everything you could possibly want around the airport. I got feasibility studies, information from the city, I got emails, and that was the biggest thing. In the email, it showed the coordinates of actually where the airport was going to be placed. And these emails were from the FAA, GDOT, and also dealing with the contractor and also the city manager. And one of the most outstanding emails I got was actually the proposed lat and long location of the airport and the runway length that they said it would be 5,500 feet with a runway 1734. Right off the bat, that was a weird thing because runway 1734 doesn't exist. The one thing that I found in the emails, like the biggest thing was they wanted to do 1734, which doesn't exist. It'd be 1735. And then they wanted to do a 5,000 foot runway. That was pretty much it. And then as you read through the feasibility studies, not all of it is the same. They went from the first feasibility study from runway 1735 to the second feasibility, they went to an east-west runway 624. I'll just say the area of the airspace. The southwest corner of Savannah, that's always been the hot spot. That's when bad things happen. So it's not a good location at all. The first thing I thought is restricted airspace. I treat it as the White House. You can't fly over it. It's a no entry zone, no planes can get in it. The only people that are allowed is pretty much military and drones. You also have military operating areas. They're called MOAs. There's Fort Stewart MOAs, and they have the Costa MOAs. And we also have a restricted airspace south, way south here, it's R377. The problem with the Costa MOAs, which is southwest of here, every day the Buford in South Carolina, Buford Marines, they fly every day back and forth. And they have target practice down at Townsend Range, which is just a couple exits down off of 95. And that's restricted airspace. But they take up that whole airspace southwest of basically Richmond Hill. And they just fly around all day long. They also have, north of here, restricted airspace R355. Problem with that is sometimes they have drones in there. We're talking not like little hand drones, we're talking large drones. And this could be a big issue. What happens to a drone when they no longer have the communication with their base? It's called lost link. Lost link is lost communication, and that drone just goes back to its home base. It doesn't stop, so it could hit anything along its path. Also, when you have fighters, their job is not to constantly look for targets. They have a mission. They're on a military exercise. That is their mission. That's why they block that airspace, just for that mission. But there are times when VFR aircraft do go near that airspace, I would have to reach out and say, aircraft 20 miles southwest of Savannah, say your call sign, you're going into restricted airspace or you're going into a MOA that's active with, live fire. And so my next issues that I thought was the new airport does not have a tower. So when you have an uncontrolled airfield like that, there will be no tower. We call that uncontrolled airfield. The pilots have to separate themselves and anything else within that airspace. That's on them. That's not on us.
Do the pilots talk to the military?
No, not unless they're landing there. Or transitioning the airspace. Like a helicopter, he can transition and he'll talk to each other. They'll talk to each other on a frequency. But when you're dealing with fighters and all that, they're not going that low. They're not flying that low.
If something happens, is Bryan County prepared?
No. I've talked to firefighters because the one person I talked to, he says he's ARF qualified, means like he can legally be certified to go work at an airport where they have fire trucks and everything, and to put out any kind of, I could say, gas fire from the planes. And he just said we don't have that type of equipment. And then on top of it, even if we don't have the equipment, we don't even have the personnel. If somebody would have a crash at the airport, that would take a lot of their personnel. And so now you have to think of the rest of the community. If there's a car crash or somebody has a heart attack, the personnel won't be there. And so that's another entity that I have found, that there are more needs in the community because the community is growing in population, but we need to grow with it in services like firefighters, police. We need to grow with it. But if you have a major catastrophe or crisis or something, you just won't have the personnel to take care of all the community needs. So the money part, when it comes to the buildings, I would have to say when I first called the FAA guy, the airport district office guy, he says, I've been watching Richmond Hill, and they said they would pay, that they were gonna get funded for 95% of the costs. The guy laughed. He's like, that's impossible. We're not gonna do that. Some people talk about T-spots and hangars. That was like the hot topic when they first started it. Oh, we can get money for hangars because T-spot is part of transport. It's called a transportation spot. So you can use that to build hangars. We have problems with traffic. So why aren't we using it towards more roads to take care of things? They think the hangars will bring in money. Well, when you have hangars, you're making $300 a month, if that. And then you have to worry about insurance. Is the plane in the hangar, is it like its airworthiness? If a plane was to crash on top of those hangars, you got to think about all the insurance, the liability, any kind of litigations. Is the city able to withstand that? It's not something like we like to talk about, controllers, because that's, you're dealing with people's lives. I might not be in the tower anymore as a retired person, but nobody says I can't work from the outside and be safe. People forget, you might be a bleep on the screen, but we know that there's people in the plane.